G'day, Sean.
Hey, mate.
How you doing?
I'm very good.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, well, nice to be here on a beautiful day.
It is nice, isn't it?
Yeah, nice change.
It is a good change, yeah. Really excited about this, to actually have an All Black captain, and a great All Black captain.
Thank you.
With something in common that I think we share.
Good rugby players.
Well, no,
Don't tell me you're a hooker.
No, I wasn't. No.
Okay.
Yeah, not really. Not really the build to be a hooker. No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Come, follow me.
Let's go have a chat.
Oh, welcome to the person cave. Take a seat.
Very nice.
Beer?
Yeah, I'd love a beer, thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah, thank you. So how long have you had this for, this little cave?
Oh, I don't know, probably about 7 odd years.
And do you have any of your cricket mates from your time around? Do you still see any of those guys?
I must admit, they were sort of work colleagues.
Right.
Yeah, I sort of...
Oh, so you don't mix with those guys now?
Well, I mean, I'd say they're mates, and I love the commentary side of it and bumping into them, and Dan Vittori just lives down the road, and Kyle Mills just lives down the road. So, yeah, I'd call them friends, but I must admit that my closer friends are...
non-cricket guys?
Yeah. All right.
That's quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same with us, we don't,
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, mate. This is like family, you sort of don't see them for 5 years and see them for 2 minutes and you're back to where you were 10 years ago.
So.
Yeah.
I actually noticed in my career too, it was like time to finish when I was not socialising with my teammates. You know, I was going from ground to practice facility to hotel and the ground. I wasn't going out and having fun.
Because you're probably seeing so much of them, aren't you? You guys, my God, your schedules.
Yeah, well, you go on big, long tours. No, because you guys would go on sort of decent length tours, wouldn't you?
We go on sort of 6 to 8 week tours.
Cricket's changed now. They just like zip in, zip out.
Do they?
Like, I mean, we obviously, we'd go on 4 week, 5 week tours and play some warm-up games. But, you guys went on big, long tours.
We did, which was fantastic. And I almost feel sorry for the guys today.
Yeah.
I was in Wales last year during COVID times, when the All Blacks were playing Wales in Cardiff. And for me, one of our great tours in 1989 was Wales and Ireland. Through all the valleys, and you'd played Connethley down there, and then you'd be off to the next valley the next week. And the poor old All Blacks play in Cardiff, play Wales, arrive on the Tuesday, Wednesday, leave on Sunday. Don't see anyone.
No.
And that was one of the great things about it, touring Ireland and going around, just beautiful parts of Ireland that outside Dublin, which now, unfortunately, they haven't got the time to do that.
But you're right, your teammates are part of your family, but, once... And when I bump into them, it's great. Yeah. You enjoy those old times and your friends. But no, I probably haven't stayed close enough to guys that I sort of played with. Maybe that's through their choice and not mine. I don't know. But actually, what I was going to tell you about, like what we've got in common, is I was reading a bit about you, and you didn't seem to, the fear of failure is not a negative. It can be a positive, which is, I mean, my book was called Thinking Negatively.
Yeah.
Because I just, used to think of all the things that could go wrong and then work hard to make sure they didn't. And it seems like, you thought quite similarly. I think
when you talk to a lot of successful people, whether it be business, life, sport, they all have a fear of failure. And the key thing for us, like in '92, when we had a lot of young guys in the All Blacks, and they put that All Black jersey on, and they don't play the way they did for Otago or the way they did for Auckland. They were too scared to try anything. That fear of failure.
Yeah.
And that's the reason they were selected.
Yeah.
So it was literally, guys, just take your All Black jerseys off. Just play the way you do for your clubs and your provinces. And it's about harnessing that fear of failure.
But with the All Blacks, when you guys at your best, you could win the game and still be deemed as having failed. Yeah. You didn't win it well enough.
No, I can remember we drew a game in 1988 when we were touring Australia. And we were probably at the peak of our power. Won the World Cup in 87, and 88 and 89 was the best team in the world. I couldn't believe it. And in 88, we drew in Brisbane. And the feeling after the game was like we'd lost by, 100 points.
Opposition might have played well.
They actually did. They were actually quite a good team. Yeah. What we actually didn't do very well in our time was we didn't accept criticism.
Yeah.
So we always saw it as negative feedback.
So then you close up.
Yeah. And there's no such thing as negative feedback. Everything's positive. The reason you're giving me feedback because you want me to be better.
Yeah.
Don't ever call it negative feedback. Zinzan was a classic example of, he could throw the ball in better than me, right? He could kick with both feet, he could do everything, right?
Yeah.
So he'd come up to me after the game and say, the way you're throwing the ball in, we're not going to get any better. So you need to, I'm like, yeah, right, here we go. So come to training a couple of hours earlier on Monday or Tuesday, and, you know, just, wow. Yeah, cool.
So you got to have a good team culture for that, because you got to take that the right way.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and that takes a while to develop. We had two teams. That tour that went to South Africa, we had two of the best All Black teams I've ever seen, because everyone was competing for, you know, the Wednesday team wanted to get in the Saturday team, and the Saturday team didn't want them to get in the Saturday team, right?
Yeah.
So we were just at each other the whole time, trying to get better, really. Because it was the first time the All Blacks won a series in South Africa. It was the first professional tour. We played South Africa 4 Saturdays in a row, and just amazing. It was just a brilliant tour to be on. We were desperate to be good, to set the record in terms of being the first team to win in South Africa. And the South African people couldn't have been better. They were like, lost the first foul, they held their hands up, and they said, well played, guys, we'll beat you next week. You know?
Was it fun?
Looking back now, it was fun. But when you're there, when you're playing in you know what it's like, when you're playing in those sort of test matches, you actually want it over.
See, because this is something that Brendan McCullum, who's having great success in changing the way England is playing, he talks about you've got to somehow find a way to enjoy it while you're doing it.
So I think that comes with age. And I think as I got older, you know, I'm talking older, getting from 30 to 34.
Yeah.
Those 4 years, you sort of run out and you go, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, playing in front of 70, 80,000 people. Got a pretty good team, and we've got a good shot of winning. So why not enjoy it?
So when you were enjoying it, that was when you kept popping out on the wing. So
it was
30 to 34, you were dotting down on the wing then.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Especially on JK's wing.
Yeah. You didn't want to be All Black captain?
I'd never, ever in my life thought I'd ever captain the All Blacks, let alone want to.
Too much pressure? What?
No, I was just quite happy doing what I was doing. I was quite good, and I just did my job. And that team from 87 to 90, 91 was just full of guys who just were good at what they did.
Yeah.
We didn't really have any superstars.
Yeah.
You know, we had JK. That was about it, really. And the rest of us were just good at what we did. You know, we trained hard. We were fitter than most teams. Most of us were manual workers, which made a difference. And we wanted to win. And we had real pride in the jersey. But to be captain, that was going to change. Like, I wanted to sit in the back seat of the bus. I wanted to be one of the, you know...
Captain can still be that off the park,
see, we didn't do that. The captain could never sit in the back seat, you see.
You had to sit up the front or something, manager.
Yeah, sit at the front of the bus, you know. I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to be on the back seat. But it definitely made me a better player. Maybe a better person, which is a big thing. It's because I had to transcend ages, you know, instead of just going to breakfast and sitting with Zinny or my mates from, 100 years, you'd have to talk to the young guys.
Yeah.
You'd have to learn different cultures. I didn't learn cultures. I remember swearing at Inga Tuagamala in Dunedin when we played Ireland down there.
Yeah.
And I was captain about my second test and we were under pressure. And I swore at him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do something I wanted him to do.
Yeah.
And after the game, didn't say anything during the game. After the game, he came up and he said, "Hey, Fitzy, if you ever swear at me again, I'm going to walk off the field." And I said, "Really? Well, come and tell me what the problem was." And he said, "That's not the way we do things." But I didn't really know that. I should have really known that, but I didn't because I hadn't really sort of dug into it. So, as I said, it's just...
But you were clearly prepared then to actually change what you were doing.
Yep. I had to
accommodate him. See, a lot of maybe poor captains would have gone, "Mate, you cock up on my team, I swear at you."
Yeah, and it took me 2 or 3 years to feel comfortable. And I can still remember being in that Friday night before that Ireland game in Dunedin, in my room, single room, which I didn't like either. I wanted to be with my mates, and knock at the door, and it was John Sturgeon, who had been our manager. "Oh, g'day, Sturge. G'day, Fitzy. Could I come in for a cup of tea?"
Yeah.
I went, "Sturge, please come. I'd love to see." He said, "How are you enjoying this gig, captaining the All Blacks?" I went, "To be honest, I'm not really enjoying it." Yeah. He said, "I can see." He said, "You know why you're not enjoying it?" I went, "No, tell me." He said, "Because you're not being your bloody self." I went, really? He said, you're trying to be somebody else. You're trying to be a Buck Shelter, you're trying to be a Gary Wetton or Andy Dalton. Just be yourself. I went, oh, best advice I ever got.
Yeah.
Being happy in your own skin. As you get older, I'm almost 60.
But what is yourself in that rugby sense? It was the captain of the All Blacks.
For me, it wasn't speaking.
No.
It wasn't writing down notes and giving these big, rah-rah speeches.
Well, we knew that from the post-game speeches.
Yeah, exactly.
Full
credit,
full credit, game of two halves, wasn't it?
Okay.
So leadership isn't speeches. It's what you see. You pick up on their actions, their mannerisms, and they give you confidence, I think. You want to go with them.
Yeah. You think of World Cup winning cricket teams, World Cup winning rugby teams. 99% of the teams that win World Cups have good leaders.
Who's the English fellow who won the World Cup?
Martin Johnson, yeah.
Yeah. I love that story where they were running out, the English were running out, and, he'd always stop in the tunnel and say something.
Yeah.
And in that final, they were all running out and he stopped. He turned. He looked at them and he just turned back and ran out.
Yeah.
And it's the power of that. They all read it as, oh, we must be ready then.
Yeah.
See, I reckon in 95, the right team won.
You can say that.
It's like, you probably don't feel that way, but with everything happening, and Nelson Mandela there in South Africa, with the South African captain, South Africa, it just feels to me like, they were always meant to win.
I must say, there's not many days that go by that I don't think about that final.
Yeah.
I'm told now, I'm almost...
I hope this makes you feel better
60, I'm almost 60
Yeah.
Listening to you say that.
I'm saying, hey, it's okay, you can let it go.
Let it go.
You weren't meant to win.
Okay, let's try it back at you. Well, I was at that final in 2019 at Lord's.
Yeah, true. England were meant to win that.
Yeah, but
that was for everything that happened.
That was the greatest sporting theatre I'd ever been to.
Yeah,
just the whole day. I was sitting amongst the New Zealand families and the roller coaster of the emotions.
Yeah,
and then
you look at everything that happened and you go, you know what? If you believe in something, there's something there. So some sort of divine something that's
it was just going to happen, wasn't it?
It was. I maintain they didn't win it; they were awarded it. But England were meant to be awarded that.
And I must say, England couldn't have been nicer about it afterwards. And living there now, they still have huge respect for that team, the way they handle themselves post that. And I think it's the same with South Africa with us in terms of the All Blacks. The way we sort of handled ourselves after that final. And once again, a lot of those guys are my good mates. I went to the reunion of the 95 team, the South African team. I was the token All Black there. It's just a mutual respect, I suppose, and once again, just the way sport has that power to...
You respect people who get stuck in.
Yeah.
Don't give because it's sport. Good sports person understands sport. They understand competitiveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you might not like someone at the time, but...
People ask me, have you watched Invictus? I'm like, you've got to be joking. Why would I want to watch that?
No, thespians don't understand thought. They understand sport, do they? It's not win at all costs for you, is it?
No. The attitude I have is be the best you can be. Like, I played in the worst rugby team. I played in the 3Ds at Sacred Heart College.
Really?
Yeah, because I was too big. Mum wouldn't let me play in the second grade. So they said, OK, we'll give him just station, you play in the worst team. And we had a teacher, and I've told the story many times. His name was Guy Davis. He was our accounting teacher. Lovely man from Fiji. Yeah. And he coached us. Yeah. And he didn't know much about rugby. No. And actually, to be honest, most of us didn't know much about rugby.
Surely you would have played for 15, though, wouldn't you?
No, this was in fourth form.
Oh, when you were young.
Yeah. So, but I was, Mum would not let me play in the second grade, right? Well, it's open grade. Yeah. So under 10 stone, I was 13 stone. And I got dispensation to play in this team. But he gave us 3 messages. And he said, the first thing, this motley bunch of bloody people who knew nothing about rugby. Yeah. He said, the first thing, everyone on this team is equal. No matter who you are, you're all equal. The second thing I want is when you turn up here on a Monday night, I want you to turn up with a bit of attitude. Yeah. That you want to be here. You want to make a difference. Yeah. And then the third thing was, he said, just individually, just be as successful as you can be. Which when you
This was when you were what?
This is when we were 13, 14 years old.
And you've carried those messages with you?
Because ironically, those 3 messages are the key to the All Blacks' success over the years. You know, treat everyone as an equal.
See, I always thought the All Blacks had quite a hierarchy, you know, back front of the bus.
No. Like, you know, sticking your hand up. But when I first got on the All Blacks, I'd never stick my hand up and say, well, why don't we do it this way? Where now they do. They have young guys, which is good. This is the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, the young kids of today are just so good at, you know, in terms of their knowledge. So why not empower them to be able to speak, to have a safe environment where people can speak?
Yeah.
But there are 3 really cool messages that I love telling people. Just treat everyone as an equal. My father always said that.
Learned that from a bloke who really didn't know much about sport.
Yeah.
Was just given a sports team.
It's just life, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think about all the great teams.
Who was this guy?
His name was Guy Davis.
Does he realise he's had such a significant hand in the success of
He don't. Unfortunately, Guy's passed away, but his children were at Sacred Heart. If you mention Guy Davis to, say, Brother John at Sacred Heart, he'll know Guy.
Should be Sir Guy Davis, shouldn't it? Yeah. If he's had that much of an influence.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic having you here.
Thank you very much. It's been nice being in the cave, I must say.
Yeah.
Have you had a few big days in here? Have you watched any World Cups in here?
Yeah, it's a good place to come just to be on your own and watch.
Oh, you come here by yourself?
Yeah.
Are you a bit of a loner or what?
Well, no, it's a person cave, but yeah, I'm a little bit. I like my own company.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like my own company.
Oh, really? No. You need people around?
I like people around me, yeah.
No, I come down here. I know it's the person cave, but it's the man cave, and I'm the man.
Do you think people like you or not? I'm sort of getting the theme's sort of building up, you know. I'm going to ask you about friends. You said, well, you haven't got many friends anymore, so...
I think they do.
I don't want to touch a nerve.
Well, if they don't, it probably doesn't bother me too much, to tell you the truth.
You're happy. And as we say, you'll be happy in your own skin, aren't you?
Yeah, be yourself.
Yeah, be yourself.
That's the lesson.
As Sturge told me.
Yeah. Sean Fitzpatrick, great All Black captain, said, be yourself.
You surround yourself with people you like.
Yeah.
So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, by all means.
Can I be your friend?
Well, would you have to come down to the cave?
Oh, maybe. When I'm here, I'd maybe pop in for a beer occasionally, or... Hey, I'm quite happy if you don't want me as your friend. I'm quite happy or not. Or you can come back to me. Maybe come back to me next year.
Yeah, I'll just think about it.
Yeah. Or maybe Christmas. Let's have a pre-Christmas. If it's positive, let's have a beer before Christmas in the cave.
Look, I'm confident that it'll be a positive, you know, outcome for you.
Yeah.
But I just can't make those types of commitments.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. I'm happy with that. Yeah. I'm happy with that. Okay.